Before I begin my digital story, I would first like to pay my respects to the Yugambeh and Kombumberi people, the rightful and traditional owners on the land in which I live, in the area of Upper Coomera, and extend my respect further to the elders, both past and present, and also those who are emerging. I grew up on the Gold Coast, and I've spent the last decade living in the suburb of Upper Coomera. When first asked to report on the visibility of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island culture in my living environment, I was stumped. I was embarrassed to admit that in all of my time living here, I couldn't really recall anything that indicated value for the traditional owners of the land where I live. After much searching, I finally found some element of what I was looking for in the Upper Coomera Centre, a library and community centre only a few minutes walk from my home. There, amidst the Christmas decorations and other displays of the imposed Western culture that we as a society has deemed most important, was a small wall with an art display. Between handmade sculptures with the artist's name cited, the piece's titles and intent, there was a lone piece of Aboriginal art. This painting was unlabelled. There was no artist, no title, no explanation of the cultural significance of the piece. This, to me, is heartbreaking. I believe that this disregard for the artist and the deep meaning behind Indigenous art speaks volumes about how my local community does not value Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' cultures and country. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have been harshly discriminated against, and there has been a sustained effort from the dominant power, white Australians, to marginalise, devalue, and outright silence Indigenous voices and culture. I feel that placing an uncredited Indigenous artwork in a gallery space in this way promotes the feeling that Indigenous culture is something old, something unimportant, a dead piece of the past that is irrelevant to today. Of course, you and I know that this is far from true. Indigenous culture in Australia is alive and well, but as long as people in a position of power, white Australians who hold the power in this country, continue to force assimilation and erase Aboriginal culture, it won't be reflected in our communities. I still have hope for the future. I hope that, with time, an increased focus on social justice and ensuring through advocacy and education that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are granted the self-determination that is their human right, their culture and country will be more visible and valued in my community. If we understood each other better, if privileged people were more willing to listen and open their hearts to a culture different to their own, the world would be a far better place. We have so much to learn from the original custodians of this land, especially during a time of intense neoliberalism and destructive environmental practices for the sake of the economy. It is my hope that one day we, as a united people, will look back at the marginalisation and silencing of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with disgust, and hopefully that changes our world for the better.